Hey everybody, welcome to Leave No Taste. I'm Mark, and today we're making hunter's pie. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with shepherd's pie or cottage pie, which nowadays people use those terms pretty interchangeably. Traditionally, cottage pie was done with ground or minced beef. Shepherd's pie was done with ground or minced mutton or lamb. And today I have some ground white-tailed deer and some wild mushrooms, so I'm going to make some hunter's pie. I'm starting with, as I said, about 3/4 pound of ground whitetail. Again, you could do this with any wild game that you shot if you had ground duck meat, or any people in the South that hunt and have like wild boar meat or anything. Be fantastic in this as well. I have some baby kale from our local CSA, Raven Ridge Farms. This looks to be a blend of stuff that we'll be getting in our CSA with some Russian red, some dino kale, some curly leaf. Looks fantastic. I've got some, about half yellow onion, about a cup's worth of diced carrots, and some of these king pearl mushrooms, which is a relatively new variety. This is what they look like in general. It's like a cross between a king trumpet and a pearl or oyster mushroom, which there's a mushroom farm down the road from us. It's called Sunhands, and they have some really cool, really interesting mushrooms. So it's really exciting to be able to get some cool wild stuff from them. So anyway, we're going to start our hunter's pie here. Step one is going to be to brown our venison in a hot cast iron skillet over here. So we'll start that. So as you can see, we're getting a nice bit of color and texture on here instead of just having this meat sitting here boiling in its own liquid. This, and the end result, is going to make for a much tastier hunter's pie. Now, you can see the difference here between a pile of just boiled gray meat and some nice texture and color on your venison. That's what you want. Okay, so I have browned my venison, which I have just set aside here. We're going to put that back into the dish after we deal with the vegetables. I am going to start, and this is a tool, I don't know if you have one of these, but everybody needs and should have a silicone scraper, because these things are super handy for picking up vegetables, for cleaning up your workstation, for anything and everything. But yeah, great to have. So I'm going to throw my onions first into the hot oil that I just cooked my venison in, and these vegetables are going to deglaze the bottom of the pan, which is going to pick up a whole lot of flavor, which is another reason that you really want to brown your meat, because you're going to build layers of flavor as you cook all these vegetables. So I'm going to do my onions and my carrots to start with. I'm going to go ahead and sweat these down until they get a little bit of color on them, are starting to turn tender, and then I'll throw my mushrooms in. So I've got some nice color on my onions and carrots. They're starting to get tender. I'm going to go ahead and add my king pearl mushrooms, which I'm super excited to try these. I am going to give this some salt. Kosher salt, but you can use sea salt, Fleur de sel, anything. A few turns of black pepper. Just let these mushrooms start to cook down a little bit, and we will deglaze and build our sauce. All right, so my mushrooms are tender, taking on some color of their own. I'm going to add my baby kale, which again is multiple varieties, and you could use any kind of greens that you want here. If you wanted to put cabbage in here, you have mustard greens or Swiss chard, or yeah, turnip greens, beet greens, anything would work in here. Collards. This just happened to be what I had. So now I've got my greens in here. I'm going to deglaze with a jigger of
Calvados or Apple Brandy. This is a, actually, yeah, I think it's from a distillery up the road here. But yeah, gonna cook this down. Let that brandy bring all that flavor up. Gonna add some stock. This is just a basic vegetable stock that I made. Normally I would use a meat stock, but I was out of bones and I had some vegetable trimmings and stuff, so I just made a basic vegetable stock, which is better than just using tap water. Still adds a lot of flavor. So I'm just gonna let this come back up to a boil. I'm gonna put my meat back in, and then we're gonna top this off with some sweet potato mash and throw it in the oven. All right, this is reduced just a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and add my browned venison. Get this stirred in with the sauce here. And I'm gonna take a second to check my broth for seasoning. Which is good, maybe a little bit of salt I'm gonna add here. And then I'm gonna top this off with some of my sweet potato mash, which you could use any kind of mashed potatoes that you like to make. Like, you don't have to use my recipe. I will put a link for this recipe for my sweet potato mash at the bottom of this with the recipe for the rest of it. But you're just gonna spread this over the top so that it has the makings of the crust of a pie. Apparently, I guess way back when people originally made cottage pie with the beef, they say that there was a tradition they would make little shingles of potatoes and they would layer thin sliced potatoes over the top so it looked like the roof of a cabbage, or a cottage, not a cabbage. But yeah, I'm not messing with that today. I'm going the shepherd's pie route, using some sweet potato mash because I like how the sweet potatoes contribute a lot of flavor to it as well. So yeah, just gonna top this off and cover it up to the edges so it kind of seals that liquid in there. It'll boil underneath until everything is heated through, reduced, and thickened. And yeah, we'll top this off and have a good supper. Oh, and also I'm gonna throw this into a 300 to 350 degree oven. I heated this to 350 just to get it ready. I'm going to drop the heat to 325. I just feel like that's a nice even cooking temperature. So go ahead and throw this in the oven. Watch out, buddy. And we'll check on it in maybe 20-30 minutes and see how we are. So our hunter's pie has been in here for, I don't know, maybe 25 minutes or something. It's bubbling through. We've got nice moisture. The mashed potatoes are reduced. I'm going to go ahead and top it with some cheese. Today I'm using Flathead Lake feta cheese. You can use any cheese that you like. You don't have to put cheese on there, but I don't know. I was born in Wisconsin and I like putting cheese on stuff. But yeah, I'm going to put a little bit of feta on here. You could use cheddar, you can use Gouda, you can use, yeah, anything that you like. So I'm just going to throw this back in, let the cheese melt a little bit. Then we'll pull it out, rest it, and serve it, and we're good to go. So our hunter's pie has been topped with cheese. I've had it resting in the oven here, just a warm oven, for about 20 minutes maybe. So as you can see, it's top of cheese, ready to go. We're going to go ahead and plate up. That's exactly what we're looking for. Top of the feta, browned venison. Go ahead and garnish with a little bit of microgreens from the market. And there you have it. Hunter's pie. We'll see you next time on Leave No Taste.
and always make the most of the food you make.